What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 61 of Let's Build the U.S.S. Voyager. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe video and helping me in supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. It really helps out the analytics on my channel, and it shows YouTube that I'm putting out good content, and they will help. It helps to support my channel even more. Anyway, we're going to be diving right into this. We're going to be picking up where we left off in episode 60. Today we're really going to be grinding it out on our shuttle bay. It's pretty much all we're going to be focusing on. So without further ado, let's kick back, relax, we're going to dive right into this thing. And we're going to be focusing, like I said, on the detailing for the shuttle bay. Specifically, we're going to be getting some detail in our ceiling as well as our floors. Now, those of you that haven't, you're going to want to make sure to go on, use your search engine and pull up some photos of the search U.S.S. Voyager shuttle bay. That's what we're going to be building. Very important to have your reference material. And in this case, we're focusing on the floor and how it looks, getting in our detailing in on the floor. And kind of what we're building out with this detailing is almost like or not necessarily pathway indicators, but landing or movement indicators for shuttlecraft is more or less what we're making here. So you have your points of designation where you have areas for your crew to be walking around in. You have points of designation for your shuttlecraft to be rolling around in, so that this way nobody's getting hurt and vice versa. And kind of what we're going to want here, going all the way out to the exit, we're going to want to make like this pathway line. You notice it in pretty much all the Starfleet ships at this point, where they, the best way I can describe their decking, it's for their shuttlecraft entry and exit point, it's not unsimilar to like almost like a landing pad or aircraft carrier, because I mean at the end of the day that's pretty much what it is. So what I'm trying to get at here is, as you're pulling up your reference material, if for whatever reason you're not really all that satisfied with some of the photos that you're finding, or maybe that is just not doing it for you, maybe take that in consideration. You know, pull up just some flight pads, pull up aircraft carriers, military landing strips, things like that. Might give you a great idea as far as something to add that might help bring your ship up to the next level. Something that I did way back on my 2009 Enterprise was how I did the crew quarters, because one of the things I did differently on my 2009 Enterprise is that I matched the scaling to the original TOS Enterprise. I didn't want to do it the scale of the Kelvin timeline because I thought it was ridiculous, but I thought it was much more realistic. And what I was able to get out of that is I ended up doing, to solve my issue with crew quarters, I only made it to where only officers had private quarters. At this point in the timeline, you shouldn't have a ship so big that everybody can have their own personal quarters. That's not going to be something that happens until like the next generation. So it makes sense that you would have general crew quarters. And that's even something to say about the Enterprise D, because, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there was a shot in Star Trek Generations when the saucer section was crash landing on the Viridian 3. Pretty sure that they showed like something that reminisced a general crew quarters, because they had like bunk beds that were being knocked over in like this large room with several of them. So I mean, even the Enterprise D could have possibly had them. But you know, again, this is just stuff to get those wheels moving in your brain to come up with some different ideas, because again, what I'm doing here, this is not what you got to do. You can do whatever you want. But you know, hopefully, if you've come across this tutorial series because you're having problems building Voyager, or you don't know where to begin, or maybe you just need some cool ideas. Hopefully this tutorial series can help you out a little bit. I tend to build or do my tutorial series a little bit different maybe than some other people that they do their tutorials. I don't call out every single block that I'm doing, because at the end of the day, I'm not building this out at a super fast speed. This is built out in real time. I'm going slow enough to where you guys can keep up with me. If you need to, you can always rewind. I talk about the important things, you know, like just filling in some of the gaps here and there in the roof. We really don't need to go into that. It's kind of, you know, it's self-explanatory why we're doing that. Now, what I do want to talk about, though, is why I decided to make my roof where I did. And I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of went through briefly and I looked at my roof because I wanted to see where I could have my starting point. So we have to take into account the fact that the roof of this area, which is the backbone, has it degrades as it goes layered row to row. So it's going downward. So we have to look at a point from our lowest point on that, and that's basically where our roof is going to have to go, because you don't want to start it further down higher up and then you're hitting that ceiling point and it's not going to look all it's not going to look blended in. So if you end up having like just a tiny gap here, tiny gap there, that's okay, you know. You can say that it's area for circuitry, things like that. I mean, this is kind of, you know, just, in my opinion, the best way to go about doing it. I will say, though, that I was really happy with how Voyager turned out, with the shuttle base specifically. The exterior of it, I still wasn't fully satisfied with, but I was like 95, maybe, well, I'd say 90% satisfied with the exterior of it, but the interior came out fantastic. Um, I'm kind of hoping that I end up getting a chance to do season 2 of Voyager, but if I don't, um, I don't think it'll be that bad because I've got content out to where I've got videos to show you guys how to do your circular corridors, and we've done crew quarters, we've done general mess and things like that in the past. So these are all things that could be added if we don't do a season 2. That if somebody was so inclined they just wanted to add it, you've got the room to do it. But we'll see. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping with Star Trek Prodigy that Voyager would become a little bit more popular again, but it is what it is. One of the other things too I have been toying with, well, not toying with, but I've picked up a new hobby this past year, and it's not something I ever thought I'd really get into, but at the same time, I'm not really surprised. But when I was a lot younger, when I was a kid, I used to build a lot of models with my dad to pass the time and things like that, because my dad always worked weekends, so I'd always get a couple of models, and I'd sit with him in the office while he worked, and I'd build my models. Well, long story short, I kind of got back into that, but not necessarily model building. I'm specifically working on like custom action figures and things like that, like taking a figure and completely customizing it and completely changing it to what it was before into something else. I might end up doing some videos for that. I don't know if it's going to show up on this channel. I haven't even decided if I'm going to do it. At this point, I'm just doing it because it's something that I enjoy doing. I don't know if I want to get into doing a channel for it. If I do, I need to decide if I want it to be part of this or if I want to do a secondary channel. I don't know. But it's something I've been thinking about. I've been getting pretty good at doing it, and it's some other content that I can put out. You are going to see me doing more stuff with building videos. I'm waiting for ARC to put out some more stuff so I can get back into ARC. Actually, they did put out a recent like steampunk update for Ark, and I've also was able to mess with the mods for the boats, and there's gonna be some cool stuff that I'll probably end up putting out for Ark Survival Ascended when I get the time to hop on there. But we're looking pretty good here. We're just detailing this thing out one row at a time. And of course, you do one thing on the other on one side, you need to do it on the other if it needs to match. That's not looking too bad. And now we want to go back and we're going to bring that block out by one more because we need a starting point for our other block that we're going to, our detail block that we're going to throw in there. And this will just make it a little bit easier to go in ahead of time and add it. So that this way, in just a second here, when we add our detail block, we're just going to bang them out. So we got our basalt. And you want to make sure that you're placing it so you get that vertical look on the lines. So you want to make sure you're looking down when you do that. That's not too bad. We're going to bang that out, see how it looks. But you notice the long Voyager in that tunnel I was talking about earlier, that she has like this ribbing that's going along the sides. And I don't know, like this basalt, I like the look of it. It has a very post TNG Nemesis era look to it, and I like it. That's one of my gripes with what they did with Picard Season 3, because don't get me wrong, Season 3 was my favorite with what they did, period, for Picard. Season 1 and 2, I did not care for those. But I felt like Starfleet, it felt like they really leaned on the Shatner movies as far as the look, and like I just kind of felt like Starfleet took a huge step back visually. I miss that TNG era look, and there was a lot of things that they could have done there. They could have paid a lot more homage to Next Generation. They could have paid a lot more homage to the Next Generation film eras. But I've talked about that a lot in the past. I'm not going to get into that too much, because if I do, this whole video will just turn into a rant of me talking about why I didn't like a couple of the ships in Picard. So I'm not going to do that. But no, like seriously, there are several of them that I did really like. I like the Enterprise G/Titan A for the most part. I like the Excelsior 2 class. I like the Stargazer. So it's cool to see some new ships. I would have just liked to seen a little bit more TNG in those ships. Maybe not so much on the Excelsior 2 class or the Stargazer, but specifically the Titan. Now you are going to notice with this floor template here, I'm going to spin my tires just a little bit until we come up with a pattern that I like. Now I do want to go back to this with that thing I just put on the wall. I really actually like that. I want to go back just so I could talk about that briefly. But I love the skulk vein, because that not only works as like something that could be controls for a wall control, but you can also put it down having it face upwards. So you can put it down and make it look like it's a keyboard that you can type on. You'll see that a lot on Voyager. I do also have the Skulk Vein on my Enterprise A retrofit right now, but I don't know if that's going to stay just for building wise. I want to try to figure out a way, like another way I can do it, so like I'm kind of dividing the universes, because technically the Enterprise A that I'm working on now is from the Kelvin timeline, and they shouldn't be that close. Now normally, I don't show spinning my tires too much on here, but this was a process that I just had to do. Sometimes that's just how it is on Minecraft in my experience. You got to throw something down and see how it looks, and you got to let it marinate. And think about, okay, do I like this? If not, what don't I like about it? Alright. It's too plain, it's too dark. What can we do to fix that? So I'm trying to add in some red on the sides. Maybe making it look like, yeah, you know, this danger, this is a runway, essentially. Don't walk on the runway. That's kind of the idea behind it. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be what we're going to fall on, because the red on the floor also kind of looks like it doubles and makes it look like the ship's at red alert. So I don't know if that red on the floor is going to end up working out too well for us. We might end up having to switch out for a different color. Using a combination of yellows, or some yellow and white, might be the best thing to do there. Or maybe between the three, yellow, red, and white could end up working out pretty well. But I mean, to each his own. What colors are you going to use in the floor? Let me know in the comments section. Definitely want to hear what people are going to be doing differently on their ship. Something you're going to see me start encouraging a lot more, because that's something I've noticed on my channel. A lot of people seem to really enjoy the fact that I try to be so freeing when we're doing this. Because, and this is just my attitude on it. You know, like, there's no such thing as Voyager in real life. It's a made-up ship. So at the end of the day, we can do whatever we want. There's no canon gatekeeper that can sit there and that can actually tell you, no, you can't do this. Because at the end of the day, this is your save file. You can do whatever you want. So if we're going to spend all this time building out a ship like this, we might as well have a little bit of fun with it. That's just my attitude on it. And if it veers away a little bit in some areas here and there, I'm okay with it, as long as it's what I want it to be. But with that being said, I mean, for the most part, I do try to stay fairly close to how these ships look on the interiors. There may be some times where I might make some subtle changes here and there, but that's typically only in a case where I either can't find the reference material, or I'm having trouble making it look right in block form built out, and I go a different direction. But no, it's a lot of fun building these ships out. I enjoy the challenge of it, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But we are knocking these episodes out just one at a time. I think this week we're only going to do 2 episodes for the first week back, and then I'm going to try to jump back into doing 3 episodes a week so that we can bang out the remaining episodes of Voyager, and then we'll hop into the Excelsior 2 class. But man, we just shot by another episode. I think that's going to do it for us today. So I just want to thank you again for hanging out with us and building out episode 61 of Voyager. If you did enjoy this content, help me out. Hit that like and subscribe button, helping me in supporting the channel. It really does make a difference. The likes, the subscribes, the comments, the views. It really helps my analytics on my channel. So if you could take the time to do that, I'd be forever grateful. But if you have any questions, drop a comment below. Definitely love hearing from everybody. Any suggestions, be sure to join the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today. So I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in today's episode. And I hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Or what did you build in general in any type of game or maybe in real life? Who cares? Drop your comment below. Love to hear from you. Have a great day, everyone.